Lost Ark, the newly released MMORPG in the West with visceral combat, inspiring visuals, rapturous sound design, and laughable to adequate everything else. Subscribe for more MMO content, and thank you for watching. Upon logging in, you're greeted with a splash screen reminiscent of Monster Hunter series games backed by an uplifting and noble soundtrack. I decide to investigate these settings options first. Ultimately, they're simple yet effective. The lines from the boats and the negative space from the silhouette of the mountains draw your eyes to the center to select a starting server. It appears that each region is separate and servers themselves are isolated, so make sure your choice here is accurate. Once you've selected a server, you choose a class, each of which is introduced by a cinematic in the background. Also, they tell you the distribution of classes, yet there does not appear to be a reason to know these figures other than what other players are enjoying. Hopefully, they do not correlate with an obvious meta. The available choices range from mostly expected archetypes: warrior, mage, monk, ranger, and Lost Ark called a gunner, and rogue called an assassin. I find the last choice appealing, and I notice that you can learn more about the class story here. Let's watch.
Listen up. We are the Delanes, the ones born of chaos. We are the Avesta, protectors of Phaeton, our home. We walk the line between control and oblivion. We get the missions the others can't handle. We handle the traitors.
Its eat or be eaten in this cruel world.
Listen to the voice. The voice is calling me.
Your last mission was a success. You faced down the darkness living within you. But you never backed down. You overcame your inner darkness and protected your true self. Which means it's time for a new mission. Avesta, head toward the light. And find the strength to protect a world that hates you.
We'll talk more about that cutscene in a moment. You can also view what your advanced class will look like, a feature I adore. For the assassin, there are two options. The Deathblade appears to be a master of dual-wielding techniques who emphasizes elementally imbued attacks. The Shadow Hunter, in contrast, allows their inner darkness to manifest through powerful possession ability. While apparently contradictory to the lore in the movie we just watched, it looked more enjoyable to play to me, so I select it. The character creation menu is sufficiently robust, yet limits the amount of controls, likely due to Lost Ark's isometric perspective. You can adjust backgrounds for various lighting conditions, change appeal, which may be ads for premium cash shop costumes, select pre-made customizations, or make your own changes. It appears that all women automatically wear high heels, and whose endowment is already maximized, so no options to make further adjustments are provided. Once you're satisfied, name your character and push OK. The backdrop appears to represent where your character is in context to the progression in the story. There is also repeated emphasis of a power pass, which seems at first glance to be a premium accelerant. Once you click launch for the first time, you must decide how to control your character in the game world. Moreover, you can modify the intensity of effects should your optical needs require them. Once finished, we're met with a loading screen detailing some lore. While I appreciate the specificity, it's so precise as to be useless. What matters in Lost Ark is the combat, not the story, at least for the majority of gamers, so I'll forgive the miss here. Moreover, the name Beatrice is green, yet there's no key to indicate why. We are greeted with another cutscene, but it's the same one we watched before. You would think that they would have tagged your account as having already watched this movie, since this viewing is now redundant. But this gives us a chance to dissect its presentation. If you remember from the first showing, a lot of lore is presented. Assassins are both the Delanes and the Avesta, both children of chaos and protectors of Phaeton, who occupy the center band within the yin-yang matrix. Our last mission was successful because we faced down our inner darkness, but wouldn't a completed mission have an external deliverable, like, I don't know, successfully neutralizing a target if we're an assassin? And why do those whom we protect hate us? And why should an assassin walk towards the light? It seems like we're Lost Ark's Batman, yet we don't seem to be vigilantes. Much like the loading screen text, I doubt any of this matters, yet it's worth considering for those who enjoy a grounded story in games. You find yourself at the crossroads of destiny at Trixion. The light is pulling your attention to the top left, and I take this opportunity to get a feel for attack pacing and movement. I also test the flexibility of the starting area to determine how much of a crossroads it spatially is. Okay, so you have to go in a single direction, thus it's a crossroads in name only. But I do like how the camera follows your character as it foreshadows the next step in our introductory process. Moreover, did you hear that little pip? It means we progress to the next story stage. Let's watch this cutscene.
The forces of chaos are on the move again. The Arks once saved the world from the demons. We need them again. Try opening the Tome of Prophecy. It will show you the path of your destiny.
Recall the green text from earlier? Beatrice is this voluptuous angel. Ironically, she implied that the forces of chaos must be stopped, but assassins are born of chaos, so are we the bad guys? Moreover, she mentions arcs, not an or the arc, so why is there only one left? In typical fashion, we interact with the Tome of Prophecy that every other adventurer handles, which is functionally a narrative device to choose your advanced class. I have mixed feelings about making this choice now because we have not experienced combat at all, although I appreciate that we can try out both if we wanted to. You can see that we are in test mode, during which we can sample combat through a series of monsters or bosses. We'll explore the mechanics of combat more in depth later, yet for now enjoy the visceral, visual, and sound design that makes combat so enjoyable in Lost Ark. Notice that? After we're done, the screen momentarily hints at where we need to go next with the Pillar of Light to verify our understanding. That's great game design. We can verify our advanced class again, which I appreciate the many opportunities to ensure we're making a choice that aligns with our future expectation of its playstyle. However, it's my impression that we cannot undo or redo this choice later, so what you pick here stays. Like in class selection, we're then given a cinematic representation of our newly obtained power. While cool, it's hard to appreciate because we haven't encountered any non-simulated combat yet. We are introduced to Lost Ark's dialogue system that may as well be functionally forgettable, yet nonetheless marginally advances the story should players even care. Moreover, we're told that the future is in our chaos-born hands, yet that the world must not fall to chaos. Another cutscene is presented. Let's watch.
You will now take your first step in the quest for the Ark. The future of Arcasia is in your hands. The light of the world must not fall to chaos.
a pillar of light. We better get moving.
Huh? Go? Where?
To meet old friends. After 500 years of waiting, the stars of destiny call to us.
Stars of the what? The what now? Come back, you crazy old man!
We're going to explore a forgotten city, but if the city had been forgotten, then how did someone remember it for us to explore? There's another cutscene. Let's watch.
Look alive, scrubs. We're here. Next stop, Trua, the Forgotten Land. Bring your things.
Prideholm is next, so please don't get off just yet.
Oh, I see.
We are going to take off once they get off.
Let's go.
The captain's remark about Prideholm is foreshadowing future content, yet contextually is very confusing, since it's assumed he's talking to us, not the other passengers. Nonetheless, the prologue opens with a JRPG-style introduction with us leaving a boat. We earn wisdom, yet at this point it isn't clear what it does. Also, for some reason, we're level 10 as seen in the bottom left, despite never having fought. There's also a roster whose function or relevancy is unknown. Morpheus, whose name is suggestive, won't shut up, and he'll be featured later. We speak to Porter, who provides some context as to why we're here. Note, it isn't to find the Ark as Beatrice suggested. Additionally, he gives us a box to open which teaches us how to open containers, which likely is priming us to purchase items from the cash shop, while also instructing players to use equipment. Gearing, at least at a lower level, seems rather similar to more basic ARPGs, yet we'll have to wait until more advanced content to see if Lost Ark introduces unique equipment systems. While difficult to see behind the mostly opaque UI window, visual changes do occur when equipping most items. You'll see exceptions in a future episode. We speak again to Porter. This time we are taught how to make a choice in context to a conversation. The problem is that there is no choice, so this tutorial is useless. I hope choice in dialogue hints of some RPG elements later down the line, yet I fear it's masking the lack of depth through a facade of gameplay pseudo-stasis. Morpheus, despite having walked off the boat mere moments ago without a limp, is now moaning petulantly. It's so rough to my ears that the next time I play I toggle the Korean voiceovers. Although the game implies he has been gravely wounded, you come to discover he's merely thirsty, despite having a fresh supply of water a few feet away. This tutorial is a perfect representation of Lost Ark so far. The cove is gorgeous, sound design perfect, and ambience justified. Yet it's couched within a completely unnecessary attempt to maintain RPG features that ultimately do it harm. The pedagogy here is really to teach you how to interact with objects, yet we already learned how in Trixion, so this tutorial is also pointless. Morpheus tells us that he's been sent by the church, presumably of Prideholm, in search of the treasure, so European imperialistic history is coloring our group's motivation. It's hard to know if we are here for treasure or to find the Ark, but that also doesn't matter. After our conversation, we are commanded to speak with Gerka, the expedition's leader. Note that this title is green, since that hue seems to indicate the next step in a given quest. In an impressive stroke of game design, you can't see Gerka, nor does the direction of the audio steer you in the right direction. Instead, without explicitly saying so, the game draws your attention through secondary colors to the minimap to see where to go next in a nice display of gameplay algebra. After speaking with the pseudo-pirate, you learn that you've been hired to protect the priest to scavenge the treasure left behind in the ancient city. More importantly, the conversation is the introduction to the overlay map, iconic in ARPGs, which renders when you push tab. It's a bit overbearing, so I don't use it. Another cutscene appears. Let's watch.
Captain, trolls in the camp. Damn it all. Wake up and grab your weapons! Let's kill some trolls!
With decent foreshadowing, we now are introduced to our first combat encounter. Seeing if any Easter eggs are present, I go against the grain and explore the cove to no avail. I also learned that you can quick jump by pushing spacebar, similar to Wolcen. Enemies are straight ahead. Want to see a breakdown of combat? Watch the next episode for more. Thanks for watching.